So welcome to a special City Commission meeting, which is called for 5:25 p.m. The regular City Commission meeting for 7 p.m. was canceled. And we'll start our two meetings tonight with the Pledge of Allegiance. If you could please join me.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, now we have an old business agenda. The items on the consent agenda are those of a routine and housekeeping nature, or those items which have previously been reviewed by the City Commission. Does the Commission have any questions or comments on the consent agenda?
Linda Morse, I confirmed before the meeting that both of them are renewals, and so it's just a routine matter to renew the licenses.
Yep. And the item on here, there's just one, item A, approve an annual cereal malt beverage on-premise license for K-State Union Bowling Center, 311 K-State Union, and the annual cereal malt beverages off-premises license for Walgreens at 325 Bluemont Avenue. There will not be any public comment on any item on tonight's consent agenda. If you're here to speak on an item that is not on the consent agenda, general public comment will be on January 18th. So if there's no further discussion from the Commission on this one, we can take a motion.
Mayor, I move that we approve the annual cereal malt beverages on premises license for K-State Union Bowling Center and the annual cereal malt beverages off premises license for Walgreens at 325 Bluemont Avenue.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. City Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Mayor Butler,
Yes.
Commissioner Morse,
Yes.
Commissioner Hassel,
Yes.
Commissioner Estabrook,
Yes.
Commissioner Reddy.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Okay, so at this point, that meeting is adjourned, and we're going to now begin our second commission meeting, and that's the special City Commission meeting.
Mayor. Go ahead. Mayor, we need to wait until 5:30.
Oh.
That was the time that was advertised.
Okay, I've got about 30 seconds.
Actually, about a minute and a half. Based on,
I got 5:29. I always use the. But yet, you are correct. We don't want to goof up and get started too early. All right, my clock has 5:30, so I think we can begin. So welcome to the special City Commission meeting for 5:30 p.m. And the regular City Commission meeting for 7 p.m. is canceled. We already did the Pledge of Allegiance once, so we won't do that again. And we'll move right on to a proclamation that we have tonight. Okay, and that would be the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Community Celebration and Day of Service, which is for January 15th through 17th. And I think, Kevin, you're here to accept this. Want to come on up, and anybody else that's with the group? I appreciate all the work you folks do on this. Really good thing. Brenda, do you want to read the proclamation?
whereas January 17th, 2022 marks the observance of the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Federal Holiday and Service Day, established in 1983. This King Holiday and Service Acts highlight remembrance and celebration and encourages people everywhere to reflect on the principles of nonviolent social change, racial equality, community and humanitarian service, and interracial cooperation. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. devoted his life to advancing equality, social justice, and opportunity for all, and challenged all Americans to participate in the never-ending work of building a more perfect union. Celebrating Dr. King's life and spirit through community-wide recognitions and service on the King holiday is an appropriate way to honor Dr. King, bringing our citizens together and strengthening our communities and nation. It is appropriate for the City of Manhattan to support a community celebration in observance of the King holiday and day of service honoring Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Each of us can and must contribute to making our communities better with increased opportunity for all our citizens. Now, therefore, Win Butler, Mayor of the City of Manhattan, Kansas, does hereby proclaim January the 15th through the 17th of 2022, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Community Celebration and Day of Service in Manhattan, Kansas, and urge all people to join and pay tribute to the life and works of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and apply his life principles and teachings of service to inspire others to serve and remember his spirit of community.
My name is Kevin Warren. I'm the co-chair of the Manhattan Martin Luther King Committee, and I couldn't be prouder to be part of the city and the community. The amazing thing that's happened over the past year have been eye-opening, eye-opening, real, and it's all what this community is about. Have to say a few words about Jim Spencer. We celebrated his 71st birthday. He's been a part of this committee and part of this community for a long time. His contributions will never, I don't think we can ever equal his contributions. We can talk about the opening of the Douglas Center, the naming of Martin Luther King Drive. This committee is also involved in community conversations and what we've done there, the headway that we've made with the Director Butler and the Coalition of Equal Justice. We could go on and on about all the good things that this city has participated in and endorsed and helped us with and to make Manhattan a better place. Can't help but say a few things about the losses that we've had this year. Lynetta Hill has passed, and she was an icon here. Will be very, very missed and very beloved. Cheryl Collins, also from the Historical Society. As a member of the committee, I've had the opportunity to work with those people, and you can't say anything about the amazing residents that we have here in Manhattan, Kansas. You just can't say enough about them. We are going through we're getting to our community celebration and our prayer breakfast, and we're looking forward to doing that. Despite what the environment has done, we're still thriving on, we're moving on, and it's great to be part of a community, and a city that endorses equality, justice, and treats everybody like they're humans. And on that point, I'll let Susan Glamore talk a little bit about the art and writing contest.
Hi, I'm Suzanne Gleemore, and the theme for the contest this year is, again, a quote from Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, and it is, "We must learn to live together as brothers or perish together as fools." And we've had quite a few entries again this year, both in the art as well as the writing categories, and it's really touching to see the depth that kids and some adults too will put into the work that they submit. So we are, because of COVID, again, totally online. Everything is being submitted online. Everything can be viewed online. So after the celebration, we will announce our winners, but we really want to also just acknowledge everyone that participated in any way and submitted an entry. So I encourage you guys to check out our website and look for some of those, because they really are inspiring. So, and you guys are all also welcome to participate anytime. We do it every year, and we're not going to quit.
Okay, thank you. Okay, then we'll move on to old business. The items on the consent agenda are those of a routine and housekeeping nature, or those items which have previously been reviewed by the city commission. Does the commission have any questions or comments on any of the consent agenda items? And there's only two on here this time, minutes and claims payments. Okay, there will not be any public comment on any item on tonight's consent agenda. If you're here to speak on an item that is not on the consent agenda, you can do that at the next public comment session, which will be January 18th. Okay, so if there's no discussion, we can entertain a motion.
Mayor, I move that we approve the old business consent agenda.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. City Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Commissioner Morse,
Yes.
Commissioner Hassel,
Yes?
Commissioner Estabrook,
Yes.
Commissioner Reddy,
Yes.
Mayor Butler.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Okay, so the next item on the agenda, I guess, is the main reason we all got together tonight, is the reorganization of the commission. And the first part of that is, I guess, I get to make some outgoing comments, and I'll try to keep that brief. I find it interesting that, a lot of people in the city don't really understand the role of the mayor and the way our system is set up. The mayor is really a ceremonial position. It's really nice to be called mayor. That makes you feel good. But you don't really have any little buttons to push, except for maybe that one over there that turns on the microphone when we have meetings. And the mayor's main purpose in life is to try to manage the meetings so they don't get unruly. And you spend a lot of time trying to recruit citizens to come forth on boards, because you got to sort of shake the trees sometimes for that to come out. But the mayor doesn't appoint people to the boards. The commission does that. The mayor's job is just to find some applicants and make recommendations. And so that's a big thing. And really, I think if you look through what the mayor can actually do, the only thing has to do with fireworks, and that was put in place, I think, about 10 years ago. And the mayor can, in fact, actually ban fireworks if there's a fire hazard on the 4th of July, but still can't do that by himself, has to get the fire chief to agree. And that's never been done. I hope it's not done, because it'll cause a disaster. So hope for rain this 4th of July again, so that we get it to work out well. And when I think back on, last year, the one disappointment I had was property tax got increased, because everybody knows that's not my thing. The good news is that it looks like the city is digging out of this, pandemic hole, as we call it. Our sales tax receipts are up. They were for October. I think, as Ron mentioned on the radio this morning, we're looking at probably a plus 900,000 when we get to the end of the year. And we still haven't gotten, the November and December, because we're always 2 months behind. And it looked like we had a lot of holiday activity. So I think we've turned the corner on that, and I think that's going to be very helpful on the budget this year, because sales taxes are looking up. We'll be working on the 2022 budget, and that, of course, is going to be supported by the economic recovery sales tax, citywide sales tax. And so that's going to be a big player, and then we've got some federal funds. So I think the budget situation, I'm very optimistic that we're going to do quite well with that this year. The one great success, I really appreciate the CVB and the Chamber and what they did to bring together what I've been pushing for years, which is having Manhattan be the holiday destination. And I think we just did a great job this year. West Loop, DMI, Aggieville, the Chamber. We had all kinds of events and brought in people, and I think you see the success of that directly in the sales tax receipts. And we got to just keep pushing that effort and get people to come into our great city. And we had some, of course, minor setbacks, like a windstorm that trashed our tree, but Manhattan's very resilient, and we're a blessed community. We didn't end up in bad shape like some of those cities in Tennessee, and so we should be very thankful that we just had what I would call minor damage to some of our decorations. And it's been my pleasure to serve as mayor for the second time. It's always enjoyable to go around and give the little welcome speeches and some of the other things that the mayor gets to do to groups. Like, I was at the Discovery Center here, New Year's, and got to do the balloon drop for the family Christmas, and little events like that are really, really cool. And they always invite the mayor to do those, and I get a lot of fun out of that. And I like to finish off by just putting forth, I guess, a piece of political advice that I got from, I think, a fourth grader by reading one of their essays. We were just talking about essays, and I always find it applicable. And it was a little essay written about Julius Caesar, and very short too, and it was a biography, and it said Julius Caesar was a soldier. Julius Caesar became a politician. He gave long speeches. They killed him. So on that note, thank you. We'll move on to the next item. So that's City Clerk. You get to administer the oath of office to recently re-elected Commissioner Usha Reddy, Wynn Butler, and newly elected again, John Mata.
Mayor, I would like to ask the newly elected commissioners to come forward and meet me at the front of the commission room. If you would raise your right hand, please. I do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of Kansas, and the Code of Ordinances of the City of Manhattan, and faithfully discharge the duties of City Commissioner for the City of Manhattan. So help me God. Congratulations and welcome.
Okay. We don't move yet. Okay, next item, item C, is City Clerk gets to call for nomination for a new mayor.
Here. I would like to ask the commission for nominations for mayor.
I move that Commissioner Morse be appointed to serve as mayor until the first working Tuesday of January 2023.
Is there a second?
I second.
Hearing no other nominations, all in favor of Commissioner Morse for the position of mayor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Okay, then you're up now, Linda.
Pardon? Oh. The mayor-elect.
Yeah.
I would like to ask the commission for nominations for mayor pro tem.
I move that Commissioner Hattasol be appointed to serve as Mayor Pro Tem until the first working Tuesday of January 2023.
Is there a second?
I second the motion.
Hearing no other nominations, all in favor of Commissioner Hattasol for the position of mayor pro tem, say aye.
Yes.
And the motion carries. We have a script. Let me tell- It's not spontaneous. Let's see.
And then go to item
Aye. Pardon?
E.
E,
E.
the mayor and the city manager recognize outgoing Mayor Wynn Butler for his service. I haven't gotten to the back page yet.
Get a symbolic gavel that we never really use, but
It's a small one.
it's a small one. It's very nice.
It is.
So when, one of the things that, is that there? All right. One of the things we've done as a tradition is try to capture some moments
of your year as mayorship. Again, we've done that before, and so on behalf of the city and city staff and city commissioners, we've re-replicated some photos over the years. You know, it was an astonishing year from a recreation center perspective. We cut the ribbon on 3 recreation centers, which is just amazing. And we appreciate the community's support of that. So we've got a couple of pictures that reflect that as part of this. And then Mr. Christmas, Gwen is a great advocate for the holidays and certainly loves to decorate Old Engine 1. And he spends a lot of time on it, and it looks marvelous for the Christmas parade as well as Veterans Day, and it isn't just those particular events. Pretty much any parade that the Old Engine 1's involved in and the commissioners are riding on it, he's added some great amenities too. So we've reflected that as well. And then, as was mentioned in the proclamation, the dedication of Martin Luther King Jr. Drive. So those are some moments that I know that you thought a lot of, and so we've recreated that for you.
Yeah, appreciate that. There's the pictures. I always like one and all the help the fire department gives on, tolerating me. And got to give credit to my wife, Mary Ann. She does a lot of work on that too. I don't just do it myself. And I appreciate you guys putting the greatest humiliating moment of my term as mayor, which is when we proved the only guy that can shoot a basket is Mark Hattis on the rec center. So, but thank you.
And next, Ron and I will recognize outgoing Commissioner Aaron Estabrook for his 2 years of service. Aaron? In this business, plaques are important.
All right.
So we put that
Thank
so
you.
that it will be there for years to come, and we appreciate your service. It's been great getting to know you better, and I know the community has valued service and the effort that you've made to just be a good commissioner.
Thank you.
And all the work you've done.
Thank you. Oh, no.
Likewise, Aaron, we have some moments that we captured
Yes.
during your term, and also the Martin Luther King Jr. dedication, which you were certainly a strong supporter of, as well as the rec centers, and got you in good form, at least
Yes.
attempting the basket.
With
Yeah.
Mark eyeing me.
Yeah, you showed him the right form. And then a picture in front of some of the murals that we have there. And then Veterans Day. You've always been a great proponent for veterans, and we appreciate that, and your family, so
Thank you.
hope
Yes.
you enjoy it very
Awesome.
much.
Thank you.
And for commissioners that are leaving the dais, we also recognize that family members give up a lot of time for commissioners to be able to serve. We appreciate that service, so we have a little gift here for Dansha
Oh, thank you so
to
much.
remember us by as well.
Thank you.
So thank you so
Yes.
much for your time.
Say.
Sure.
Sure. So I will be very brief. I'm glad to see the Martin Luther King Jr. drive on here. I think that was one of the highlights in one of the 2 years. It's been a wild 2 years. I mean, who asked to be on the commission during a pandemic, and then the mask issues. Most of my meetings, I'm sure I'll be the only commissioner in the history that spent most of their meetings at home. And doing that virtually with my 5-year-old running around and my 10-year-old yelling about the differences in mask and vaccine. So we had internal debates across the city. We navigated things in the last 2 years, and I think it's transformative in where we've gotten to, what we're able to do now compared to 2 years ago, and I look forward to all the success in the future. But the Martin Luther King Drive renaming was very important to me, and then, of course, the issues that we've begun to address with housing, the Housing Advisory Council that may come along soon, and the strategic planning initiatives that put some goals around and the meat and potatoes behind what all the staff does, and Ron and his team have led a lot of efforts, but it's hard to quantify those without that strategic plan and show the progress we're making. And I look forward to seeing that over the next 10 years. Thank you.
Okay, now we're gonna change chairs, okay.
Ah, thank you. Stuff. We appreciate you being here this evening to watch us go through the formal process of what we call reorganization. And the next item is item G on the agenda, Commissioner comments on reorganization. As mayor, I'd like to welcome John Matta to the commission. He's returning from a stint, how many years ago, John?
2015.
15, so it was before me. I think I came on about the time you went off. And so welcome, and we look forward to working with you. It'll be interesting. And welcome back to Wynn and Yusha, who have, all three of you, won the election, and we're happy to have some veterans, actually. That'll be a good thing. So perhaps, Mark, do you have some comments?
I don't want to say too much. I just wanted, well, everybody will notice that occasionally when there are some issues that are divisive between the commissioners, just like they are on a national level, whenever there's issues that are strictly what's best for the city of Manhattan, it seems like it always ends up being a 5-0 votes, whether it's water, wastewater, sewer, streets, highway, all those important things that people expect the city government to do. We pretty much are always 5-0 on that because everybody wants the best things for the city of Manhattan. When it gets into some of the things that are, when national politics drips into local politics, that's when there's some disparities a lot of times. But I just want to remind people that when things are important for day-to-day operations of the city, pretty much that's one of the things we pretty much all will agree on. And thanks, Aaron.
Yeah. Yusha?
Thank you, Mayor. No, I think I'm glad to be up here again for the third term. It's always a pleasure to work with fellow city commissioners, and Mark is absolutely right. We tend to agree more than not, and we do have really good civil discourse. And it's good to have that kind of discourse when we make our decisions and have a broad discussion. I'm glad to see friends and family here this evening as well. We don't often get too many people just to come and take pictures, so thank you. And also thank you, Aaron, for serving. I'm sure we will see him on many platforms in the future, and we always look forward to community participation and continue to work with our partners in our community. Thank you.
Commissioner Butler?
Yeah, thanks, Aaron, for serving, and I'm sure you'll, working with the Manhattan Housing Authority there, you're gonna make some progress there and hopefully help us out with the, workforce housing task force that'll get put in place, and we got some work to do on that. And looking forward to serving with John again. I enjoyed the first 4 years we were on the commission together, and very optimistic about the next 2 years. Thanks.
I'd also like to thank Aaron. I'm looking forward to be on the commission again. I think we've got some fantastic projects coming up that have been talked to as a lead-in as we go into these next couple of years. When I joined the commission in 2011, one of the things I said I wanted to do were the things that I said I was going to do on the campaign. Now, that didn't mean I was going to win every vote, but I was going to try. And also, I hope that I presented myself that 9 times out of 10 people could figure out how I was going to vote because I let people know, and that's why they voted for me. When I left in 2015, I believe I accomplished that, so I'm happy to be back again. I'll be kind of using that same philosophy.
Thank you all. I'd like to make some remarks, and that is that Manhattan is a unique and wonderful community. It's bigger than just the city. We only have to do with the city, but it is a unique place, and the people I talk to that come here are excited to come to Manhattan and be a part of our community. And that has taken work over the years. That didn't just happen. We have invested in this community. And I don't just mean money, but just our hearts and our efforts. So I'm interested in continuing that. You know, the census was up slightly for Manhattan. It wasn't 1,000 or 1,500 or something. And that's not a lot of growth, but we had been pretty stagnant financially and population-wise, just barely growing, 1%, 1.5% a year. And so in order for us to continue that, what I call progress, we need to pay attention to our economic development efforts, and that has become kind of stagnant too in the last 5 years or so. We think we're doing the right things, and then when you look back, you say, well, what really did we accomplish? It wasn't enough, and we want to do more. So we have some other economic development initiatives that we want to pursue. We have some studies that we've been working on, and with a consultant or otherwise. The Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee has made some recommendations to us that we need to review carefully and act on. There's a housing study, marketing study underway that hasn't been concluded yet, so we don't have those recommendations, but the state of Kansas has done a housing study also, and that information is available now, just recently. We have actually an annexation study that's been underway, and we'll be talking about that in the next month or so, for Green Valley area in Pottawatomie County, whether it's going to be good for Manhattan to annex, and we called it at the time a cost-benefit analysis. So the utility issue there may really define how interested we are in that annexation. There are other things underway. I'm anxious to pursue some of the features in the strategic plan, and in which we developed a vision, some values, goals that we need to follow up on. And the commission just recently, a month or so, approved that, and we need to kind of tear it apart and make it ours. And there, piece by piece, we'll implement that so that for the betterment of the city and the betterment of our city staff, we have been functioning really on a shoestring and trying to do everything. And our staff has really been stretched. So this will be an opportunity with the additional federal money from the American Rescue Act. And I'm hoping that our whole community can benefit, and I don't mean to dismiss any aspect of it, but it's going to take some balance as we go forth with that. So I'm enthusiastic about this coming year. I'm enthusiastic about 2023 also. So 2022, 2023, we will be emerging out of this pandemic. One of those years we will. Guarantee. There's no guarantee which one. But we've got to be ready, and our sales tax and the state of Kansas sales tax is already emerging and above some past years. So our future is encouraging. And we have to sell Manhattan as best we can, everywhere we can, to any of the groups and organizations we belong to, selling Manhattan will be at the top of the list. If it's the League of Kansas Municipalities or the Engineering Society or the Recreation Society for the state and region, please promote Manhattan. I thank you. I look forward to working with everyone. I think we have an exciting year ahead. Thank you. Thank you. I'd like to thank everyone for coming. I think my family is about half of the audience. And at this point, I'd like to announce that the meeting is adjourned.